Hello, everybody. It's good to see so many of you join us today. Unfortunately, Herb is not joining me as he has fallen ill to COVID today and woke up sick. So apologies, he is not here. He is super bummed about it as he was looking forward to it. So I have asked Maria, MAPS coach, to join me as a co-host today as we work through our presentation. So a lot of you know who I am, so I'm going to start off with who's got something good to kick us off with? Anybody have something good or exciting they want to share with us?
I'll say we hired a TL and an AMCA, so yay, there's actually going to be a team. So
That
we're
is
excited.
exciting. Yes.
Yes,
Congratulations. And
thank you.
you guys will get the recording with this, and we can get any other resources that we share. And that'll be a great way to segue us right into our presentation for today. So if any of you have ever seen me present, I'm very much an interactive presenter. The way that you guys participate and engage with the material and conversation is what you're going to get out of this course. We're going to make it short, should be about 20 minutes, and then we'll leave some time open for about Q&A. So let me get my screen shared and we will get started. So we're going to cover today. I'm going to hold on. I need to rearrange my screen so I can see everything. So one quick minute. All right. So we are going to cover some 3 powerful plays that top market centers are using right now. And I want to start off with what to think about the onboarding process. So a lot of us, when we think of onboarding, we think of a checklist and we think of the workflow. However, a lot of times when we ask clients, what are we working on? What's our big focus? We hear onboarding. And a lot of times it's not broken. It's just under leveraged. We're not maximizing what we're already doing. And we really wanted to stress the importance of this conversation that onboarding is an experience and not just a checklist. It's not just a workflow. And so we're going to approach the conversation today about the experience we're creating through onboarding and to create successful relationships with our agents. So one of the things that as we're looking at the things and ways that we relate to onboarding, one of the things that we have is communication. And I just want to stress the importance of communication. And Elise, you gave us a great example of this, is having new team members or having team members in different locations. Sometimes our communication may not be solid or may have an opportunity to improve. So I'm sharing these things today all with the awareness of how important communication through the process is, or in the process of creating something. We have to communicate with our team and with our agents. And so onboarding starts not just with brand new agents, but it also goes from brand new licensees all the way through large indie offices, and the experience we create matters. So of the questions or points on the slide, inconsistent results from onboarding, agents dropping off 1 or 2 weeks after they join, agents fail to get production quickly. Typically within 90 days, we want to see agents get into production when they join our market center. And then the lack of referrals from agents that we onboard. Who has one of these, or possibly a different one that we don't have listed? Who has one, or which one do you relate to? You can put it in the chat, or you can come off mute to share.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that I see on this list is lack of referrals from agents we onboard. I think I get in the rat race of keeping going down my pipeline instead of looking back at who's already come on board and reach back out to them and get names from them.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. Look at all these in the chat. The last 2. Yeah. How many of our new agents, I know another one that I would add here is how many of our agents, newer agents, are not paying their bills within the first 90 days of joining our market centers? Does anybody have AR from newer agents joining? Yep. That's it. Absolutely. Okay, so how do we go into solution-based things now that we can agree on some of the challenges that we have around onboarding? Going into this, play number 1 is connecting beyond the deliverables. And like I said, the onboarding is an experience, and that's where the lens that we're looking at through today is it's not just a checklist. the checklist can help us create the experience, but it isn't the experience. And so looking at what is our first play? How do we connect with them? We want to connect with their why. Why hasn't an agent joined your market center? So specifically, what are ways for us to find out our why? We can pull our pipeline, we can pull our new agent report. You can also pull the new agent productivity report out of my KW reports while we still have it. That's going to tell us all of the agents that we've joined. Now, if you have a really tight communication within your market center leadership team, you will know, or you may know in a different way, who has been onboarded. So we want to pull the list, and we want to get to understand what is their why. Who is in charge of asking their agents and why they're joining Keller Williams, and why have they chosen your market center specifically? And then we want to connect with them on that. So if an agent, hey Maria, will you play this with me?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're an agent joining my market center, why did you join my market center?
Well, I knew that you had the opportunity to build out more teams. You have a
More
lot of
teams.
teams in your office.
Absolutely. So the ability to build out more teams. So as the MCA, as the market center team, who is it who has the charge or the lead on connecting this agent with the teams or building the teams? Do we have an ALC member that has a strong history in creating a team? Do we have another mentor? Have we connected them with the resource either of the MREA to help them build the team? And so have we connected their why with the resource that we provide? And have we done that within the reasonable amount of time of them joining? And so pulling our agents, have we connected it, reviewing our agents on our pipeline? And then if they know that our team is what's important, how do we plan to deliver that to them? What is our follow-up? How can we tag them in command? How can we add a note or a task within command to remind us to go back in 30 days and say, hey, I know you joined the market center because building a team was important to you. Have you gotten the resources you've needed to help you get started? If you haven't, we'd love to be able to follow up with that.
And I want to, I think as leaders that are operationally based or financially based, sometimes we forget, we hear it on the agent side, how much follow-up is so important, and that's where the magic and the money is in the follow-up. It's the same for us, right? If we don't follow up, we're only as good as our word, and our intention is there, but if we don't follow up on it and we don't keep following up with it, we're never going to make the connection.
And that's, I mean, a lot of times if you put yourself in a place of onboarding to, the example I like to use is a gym, right? If you go to a gym and you join for a specific reason, and yet no one ever follows up with you or asks for feedback, because we're going to get back to feedback, what kind of retention, how long will you stay with that gym or a membership before you may or may not decide to leave? The other resource here that if you're unsure how to get to these questions of why did they choose KW, what value are they looking to get out of Keller Williams when they first join, within command and within the associate profile, there are the needs analysis questions. I believe it's 5 simple questions. So that is the conversation that you can use, is saying, hey, part of the onboarding experience is us to connect with your goals. I have some current questions for you. Run right through those questions. Make sure that we're logging the notes. That is going to help any one of our team members to be able to help facilitate any future conversations. So play number 2, whoops, we'll get there, is empower dynamic skill building, empower with dynamic skill building and early wins. So one of the things that, Sierra, give me just a minute. I will come back to any questions in the chat in just a little bit, but please do remind me of that. And Maria, will you help be my memory on that?
I am. I'm looking now.
Thank you. So the KW, leveraging the KW models for a customized plan is through the needs analysis, we also identify what the agent's goals are. And so we want to understand what is their goals, how do we measure them? Because what we measure, we can manage. We can help them manage their activities. And so what is the strategy here? Is the economic model in action? So specifically, that's one of the things when Herb and I were designing this, we wanted to give you specific things that you could take. You can take all of them, you can take one of them, but there is something you can take away today to go say, all right, team, let's pull this list and this is what we're going to do with it. So the first one was pulling the list of new agents and getting their why. The second one is of those new agents, maybe they're in their first 30 days, maybe they're in their first 90 days. You get to determine that. So as quickly as possible is we want to get, what is their income goal? By joining Keller Williams, by getting into real estate or new to real estate people, you can adjust that conversation based on the type of licensee that is joining, is what is their income goal and what activities will it take for them to get there? And so we want to reference page 138 from MREA is their lead generation model is we know they have to get into action right away. And so what is the lead generation model that they are going to be able to relate to the best? Now there's a lot of different options and there's some options not on there. And yet we want to get them connected to action right away. Agents who make money with KW tend to stay with KW longer. And so how does our training calendar then support those lead generation methods? Is there an action plan then that we can help them with either the accountability, if we have productivity coaching that may help with that? And then our training classes, how can our specific training? So if I have a goal to take 12 listings a year, is there listing classes either through Ignite or Win with Sellers? Are there things on there that they can, and even Bold? Bold is a great class to be able to plug agents into to get them into productivity. And then to create the business plan based on their agent goals. Again, we have business planning clinics. Those will start coming out August, September, October. So if we've had new agents join us since the beginning of the year, this is something that we can invite them to. Some of you may be doing it mid-year even to invite them. If not, it's a little plug to put together a mid-year business planning clinic to check in on goals. The other form that we would like to share, I'm going to click this and it might open on the screen and it might not. It is not. So I will make sure that I share this on the MCA Facebook group with all of you after this, but there is a form called Life by Design form. And this is a form that walks through, actually, you know what? I would like to share this with you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, while you're looking for that, I was just gonna say, I was in the market center yesterday and a team had already printed out their goal sheets and their Life by Design and their one thing goal setting package, and it's June, right? So they are doing mid-year goals as if they were 2026 goals.
Yeah.
Already. That's
It's not
pretty
too
high
early.
functioning.
How long has that team been with your market center?
Since the beginning. And then they were with KW even longer before they became a team. So
Okay.
they're very much adoptive of the models, and sometimes it's like in any training we have, the information may be the same, but you're hearing it differently. You're in a different place. You have different team members. You have a different chemistry. It's a different setting. So the information may be the same, but the way it's applied is going to be totally different.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for exactly. They've been there for a while. They came and they've stayed there. And it's not always going to be 100%. And we want to know that, have we created the onboarding experience to keep someone and or a team connected to the market center? And so the Life by Design form is a great place to start. The other things of how do we have some of these conversations, I'm going to put in the chat are the 6. You guys can most of you guys have your camera on. So if you have ever watched any one of the 6 agent consulting conversations, raise your hand. Have you ever seen those videos? Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. It just helps us to see how often are we engaging with these tools, because they lay out the conversation so perfectly well. Jason Abrams recorded these. So if you like Jason on Monday's calls, he does a fantastic job of going through the 6 consulting conversations. And then there's a video on agent goal setting. So if you want to see an example of that conversation, these are your resources. Maybe you take this to a leadership meeting. A lot of us have leadership meetings, right? Weekly. Have we watched these? Is there one that we have all watched? Maybe not all of them. Maybe there's certain ways that we break up the conversations between the team. Again, communication is important of who are we putting responsibility to follow through on them. All right, I'm going to stop share and then reshare the presentation. Here we go. All right. And then we're going to go into play number 3 is implementing continuous engagement and feedback loops. Again, looking at onboarding as an experience, it being a journey, and to create an unforgettable experience. Ultimately creating an experience that you would refer to. And so in coaching, a lot of times I like to use the example of, Maria, I'm going to play this with you. If I came out to Washington Township and I said, I want to go to the best steakhouse around, what steakhouse are you going to recommend for me?
Del Frisco's.
Okay, Del Frisco's. Did Del Frisco's pay you to share a referral?
Nope.
They didn't. And yet for us in our industry and Keller Williams, people do get referrals. It's called profit share. And so we want to be able to create a referable experience for our agents to then have a profitable return on that. And so we want to elevate the experience with personalized touches, some of that surprise and delight. And so depending on market centers and budgets and the level of which an agent, maybe it's an indie, not necessarily new licensees, maybe it's different for the level of agent onboarding. Yet do we give them a book and specifically mark to a page? If we know that during that onboarding or recruiting appointment, that we know that all lead generation methods are important to them, do we have an MREA marked with page 138 for them to get them started? Making the feeling personalized, and we can do this at a scalable level. We have to work on what specifically we're communicating, when and how. And then personalized welcome video from the OP. Do we text them a quick little video from your OP? Or influential leadership meeting? Maybe it's a general manager. Maybe if it's an ATL doing a lot of recruiting, maybe it's the team leader that has a video personalized to them. Having an investor or an ALC member reach out, or maybe you have a mentor group be able to share videos, or a quick little text, or invite them along on an open house. How do we make them feel connected? And then possibly creating a sample 8x8. So for agents who are transferring in, could we have a template? So an 8x8 are 8 touches within 8 weeks. So within 8 weeks of let's say that we're talking about a licensed agent joining Keller Williams, do we have a sample 8x8 communicating to their database, their transfer to Keller Williams, and their value proposition to their database? Do we have that thing that they can plug and play into their business right away into joining us? How do we accommodate to them? Something like this is scalable. We can easily put that into a smart plan, and they can go into the smart plan library and grab that. And then inviting them to a committee meeting that might be applicable to them. If they're really big into culture, have we invited them to be a part of the next culture committee? Has the culture chair reached out to them and invited them personally? Is it a quick little text? Hey, we just onboarded an agent, Maria. She's interested in culture. Could you text her real quick? Here's her phone number. Welcome her and let her know when the next meeting is. A lot of times we can do that quick and simple, and yet it's that one extra little touch that we can follow up with them. So the importance of logging notes and appointments in Command MC. As we've brought these people on, we can go into Command MC, we have notes, we can use tasks. We again, we started the call out with our onboarding isn't broken, it's under leveraged. So how are we using the tools we have available to us to leverage activities and a better relationship? And then putting it all together is, whether it's one agent or 10 agents, every new agent to Keller Williams is an opportunity to strengthen your market center. And ultimately, the goal is to create strong agent relationships that's full of productivity and profitability for our agents and for their market center. So communication is key. And I also I've been in market centers, work with market centers every day. I know that communication can be a challenge, and sometimes our team dynamics may be a challenge. And so in our full fast track program, we do have a model called team peak performance. On some of that communication, I know I see some faces that went through MCA 30, 60, 90 before, and we've covered that and how we can use that model to help with some of that communication. And so what are some of the things that have sat with you today? What are you hearing? What are you taking away? Action item that maybe this conversation has created for you?
I've added a lot. Actually, I've written down a lot of notes, and they could just be simple but impactful in adding to our onboarding process. As simple as marking the page, because we do give a MREA book as swag, marking that page, going through that with them. Yeah, I mean, we do like, I send an email welcome. I have all the investors and the ALC, and they reply back, though I gave myself a note on my tasks to have the ALC do more, right? Have the investors do more, because it's easy to just reply, hey, welcome. There needs to be more of a heartfelt welcome for our agents. That's just a couple of things I wrote down.
And thank you for sharing. And you can really make that easy too, is when you send ALC or investor, if we're asking someone to do more, can we create a template? Again, we want to create scalability to this. And that is sometimes the challenge, is how do we create scalability in a personalized relationship and touch? And so do your ALC that we can copy and paste, say, hey, can you send this quick conversation to this new agent? Here's their cell number, here's their name, here's a sample thing that you can send to them. Make it quick and easy for them as well. And make it quick and easy for yourself. I see some good things in the chat. Did anybody else have something? And thank you everyone for participating in the chat. I love seeing some of these things.
I think we're realizing that instead of having a to-do list for our agents, we need to have an actual experience that increases the energy instead of kind of leaving them with a big page of things to do.
Yes, yes. I know I can get overwhelmed with a big task, a big checklist on where do I even get started. And they could feel that too from our from a market center, was if we're just checking items, that is what the experience will feel like. And so just being very mindful. Sometimes we have to do this. And when we do need to say, hey, you know what, we've got some checklist items that we need to get through. Here's some of those. And now this is what we want to move into. And so being very mindful of when it needs to be a checklist type approach versus the experience you're creating. So thank you for sharing. Who else? Anybody have something else that they would like to share?
Jennie, I was just going to add, as it relates to like the messages from ALC members and that kind of thing, maybe it doesn't need to be heartfelt and individualized. Maybe it can be heartfelt and a template, because obviously that person, you know, each new agent's experience is their own experience. So maybe even teaching them how to create templates in their email where they could send, you know, a similar or the same message to each new agent that sounds and feels more heartfelt than just a welcome. That may go a long way.
Yeah, you could easily walk them through that, especially if it's coming from your ALC meeting. You can, everybody bring your laptops, but we're pulling up your email, create a quick template, copy and paste it to them. Easy peasy. Yep. All right. So, Maria, is there anything that you'd add right now?
So as I'm listening to everyone give their feedback, I was thinking, you know, a lot of times in leadership, some of the best leaders I've had have flipped the script on me after they've given me my, you know, like, okay, so what are we doing today? What's our initiative? What do we agree that we need to focus on? What's the one thing that we want to focus on? And walking away from any of those conversations where action needs to be taken, they've turned around and said, okay, so now repeat back to me so you know what they heard. You know what they're walking away with, and it's that little accountability piece that still cements the conversation, right? To say, you know, they really got value out of this conversation, even if it was one thing. It could be 3, could be 5. But what's the one thing that you're really walking away from this from? And what are you going to go do next? And how can I best support you? Right? All of that is part of do they really believe we can help them?
Absolutely. It's that follow-up. And so I know back before we had some of this, having been with KW before we've had command quite a while now. One of the things I'd used to do back in our Winmore days, we would get our new associate list, and I had a little what do you call it? The accordion file. And so my new associate list, I'd put one of those in at my 30-day mark and my 60-day mark. So I knew which associates were rolling over into their 30 and 60. So I just pull that out. It was a thing on my calendar. I'd pull that out and say, all right, who am I reaching out to? We have so much more at our fingertips now with command. It can be so much more systematized. So, all right, is there anything that I promised you all today that I need to make sure I get into the MCA Facebook group? Did we get the needs analysis for command link?
Yep.
Did we get that fulfilled?
I attached the link and then somebody attached the actual needs analysis.
Okay, fantastic. Making sure that they receive. Okay, so the one last thing is, again, we started out with this being an experience and then a referable experience. How many of you in your onboarding process now ask for that referral from your agents when they onboard? Is that a part of it? Hey, if it isn't, it can be, right? As easy as a piece of paper, as part of yes, I will repost the needs analysis, and I will also post that in the MCA Facebook group as well as the Life by Design form. And so going into the referral process, asking for referrals it can be a piece of paper. It can ask 3 is, hey, who are 3 people that you may know interested in a career in real estate or that could use a business consulting conversation that's already in real estate? Really easy to be able to ask our people that. And if we don't feel like we can ask that conversation, then I think we look at ourselves to say, who do we have to be, or what experience do I need to help create for I to feel comfortable in asking that asking that question. All right. I appreciate all of you guys coming today. Again, a little plug for our MCA Fast Track program. It is kicking off. Oh, I don't even know what day is it. July 16th, I think, is our first day. Yes, Wednesday, July 16th, right about this same time. If you'd like to sign up, Graham had posted that in the chat, and then it's also on the Facebook group. We dig into more things like this, more specific models, more action plans. We've got it all put together and we're really excited about it. And we appreciate everyone that has signed up. So thank you for joining us for today. I know that Herb is really bummed about being here, so hopefully he feels better soon. And we will see you guys at the next event. And I appreciate you guys. Have a good day. I appreciate what you do.